So, I wish flipping these was more socially acceptable for me to just do this whenever I wanted to, because it helps me a lot, especially when I'm pissed at people like the mailman, for example. You know, one of the things that I wanted to bring up is, and people get very, very defensive over this, so I want to make my views on it abundantly clear because it's going to piss off a lot of people. Karma does not exist. There's no such thing as karma. Unfortunately, people won't learn anything if there's no consequences. Nobody understands that they're doing something wrong if there's no consequences. They're just going to keep doing it over and over and over again until somebody does something about it. And there's all kinds of people that'll say, oh, well, you know, my Uncle Ron robbed the liquor store and 17 years later he broke his toe. Well, that's not karma. It's not. It's just, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And when you interrupt that and try to say, oh, it'll be somebody else's problem, or oh, something else will happen to him later on, the reason why that falls apart is because what goes around does not come around. It does not work that way. People say the word karma to prevent them from becoming a very violent person. Oh, well, you know, karma will get them. No, it won't, unfortunately. There has to be consequences. So, the situation in California, well, actually, let me tell you, this was like 2 days ago, I think, on Wednesday or something. Oh, today's Thursday, that's right. This was like Tuesday. I'm walking out to my truck, and there's an obviously homeless guy screaming at me. The entire time I'm walking to my truck, I'm blowing him off. And he keeps getting louder, and he keeps walking towards me like he has something important to say. And he just keeps going, hey man, hey man, hey man, hey man. And finally, I turned around and I said, oh, what are you coming over here to tell me you got a fucking job? Do you have the magical numbers to the winning lottery? And the guy just shut up, and he stared at me like I was a fucking lunatic. And I said, yeah, you got nothing for me. Shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of my face. And I fucking got in my truck and I drove off. And there's all kinds of people that will say, oh, well, there could have been somebody dying and he needed you to call 911. Good. Let them die. That needs to happen because nobody's going to learn anything. You know, I'm so against Narcan that the tax-paying citizens have to pay for these pieces of shit. Oh, well, he wanted to get high, but he didn't think he was going to die. Well, that's not my financial responsibility. Karma does not exist. It never has. It's a lie. I don't know who's watching. I'm sorry. I'm rambling. I should be flipping. But, you know, I've been talking to a buddy of mine about this because this is something that I struggle with too, is that flipping knives, it's one of the few things that I have where I can focus on one thing and one thing only, and all of the stresses in my brain just disappear. So most people don't have that outlet. Sometimes they tell themselves that they have that outlet, but they don't. And they try to put it in something where it doesn't fit right, and you have to go out and experiment and try things to figure out how to alleviate all of the stresses in your mind. Because, and the guy that thinks that I'm talking about him, I'm actually talking about somebody else. Because I've had a conversation with another guy that's going, you know, we're all fucking middle-aged men here, you know what I mean? Um, I realize that at my age, I'm fortunate enough to still have my dad, because my dad is the only sound of reason that I have on this planet. And once that's gone, I don't know how I'm going to react. I really don't. If somebody's not there to calm me down, I don't know. But, if you think of your mind as a cluttered room, right? It's full of obligations, bills, everything. Time limits, responsibilities, things that pile up. And you have to eliminate annoyances. And it's hard to eliminate annoyances when you dealt with one annoyance and you just said, okay, I'll just put up with it. And the next thing you know, there's 47 annoyances that you're dealing with all at the same time. And then you find yourself in a situation where it's very hard to deal with one annoyance when you're completely surrounded by them. So you have to artistically delete annoyances. And you have to do that in a way that you know that annoyance is not going to come back. This is not a temporary thing. We're not pushing it off to the side to deal with it later, because we've been doing that this entire time. And here we are still dealing with it and trying to push it away and push it away and push it away. And now it's 47 times worse. So what I'm saying about the homeless people is they're out of control. People don't realize, like, I know what I just said sounds completely insane, especially the people that live up in Ohio. Because up in Ohio, if there was a homeless guy standing behind you at McDonald's, it was perfectly normal to purchase that guy a burger and something to drink. You can't do that where I live. This is a totally different society that we live in. Things are not as friendly as they once were. And basically, you have to artistically eliminate annoyances so that they don't come back, because they build up very quickly. So people don't understand the amount of damages that are caused by homeless people. They just don't. Like, even the police department is totally oblivious. Oh yeah, they know. Well, they only know about the homeless people going into the gas station and robbing the gas station blind because they want to get drunk and they just stole $800 worth of booze. A whole wild pack of them just came in. That actually happens down here in Phoenix. That happens all the time. That's the only thing that they see. So what they don't understand is that they're setting up these speed limit cameras to get money out of the tax-paying citizens. And for those of you who don't know how to get out of that, all you have to do is they give you a ticket in the mail. That ticket only gives you an office to pay for this ticket, right? Now, if they're just ethically, if they're gonna scam you, which every bit of that camera is a complete scam, if they're going to do that, then don't feel bad about doing this. They give you an office to show up at, right? They don't give you a court date. They give you an office to show up and pay your ticket, or you can pay it over the mail conveniently or online. You don't do that. You go to that office and you tell them you want to have a court date. Oh, well, what do you need to go to court about? We have a photograph of your face. We have a photograph of your license plate. I just need to go to court. So they give you a court date. You show up in front of the judge and you say, I was evading a road rager and I was in fear for my life. Boom, case dismissed. Done. Look, there has to be an alleviation, because it's just getting worse and worse and worse. don't find a way to alleviate these things, these annoyances, they're going to keep coming back. So that's the thing with the homeless population. I am totally against Narcan. I think that if somebody is overdosing and dying, they need to die. That needs to happen. And everyone else around them that watch them die, we'll see what's going to happen to them if they continue to do drugs. Rather than the tax-paying citizen having to pay for their existence. I just, when it comes to Narcan, I totally disagree with that. I think those motherfuckers need to just rot where they lay. Don't even bother. You know what I mean? Again, that's another very touchy, offensive subject to some people. But it's out of control. That's the problem. It's a cockroach infestation. That's what it is. And people are unaware of the damages that are being caused. So like one of the things that the police department is doing down here is they're pulling people over for the tint on their windows. What they don't understand is that people are tinting their windows so that these fucking homeless people can't see the valuables that are inside and break in and steal all their shit. Because sometimes I have $50,000 in my fucking truck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just not have tint. Like, what the fuck kind of fantasy land are you in, pal? This is Phoenix, dude. Like, what the fuck? But they're giving people tickets for tint now. And it's like, you know, if you stood in front of a judge and you told him that, he'd throw the fucking case out. But the problem is the anger is faced at the wrong people. It's faced at the taxpayer for some reason. And they'll do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid dealing with the fucking homeless population that is wildly, rampantly out of control. The thing that sucks is, you know, my parents are coming down to visit me in October. And I haven't seen my family, I haven't seen my parents in probably 5 years. And I mentioned California earlier. This is kind of closely related. You know, these people, it doesn't matter if I lived in a multi-million-dollar house in Scottsdale, I would still have a homeless guy shitting in my front lawn. That's how out of control this shit is. And it was that way in California forever. So it's like, how do you sell a multi-million-dollar house if you have a homeless guy constantly shitting in your lawn and people taking showers with your fucking hose and just fucking throwing their trash all over the place? And, you know, it's just, nobody's doing anything about it. Something needs to be done. You know, this is an idea. Oh, but what I was talking about, I just want to mention this real quick. The guy that thinks that I'm talking about him, I called up a buddy of mine that I haven't talked to. He lives in Ohio, and he's going through some shit, and we were just talking about the same shit. But you have to come up with a list of all the things that are pissing you off. And once you've identified what the pest is, then you can select the correct pest control, right? How do you deal with this? Are we monitoring the situation? Are we eradicating the situation? Are we slowly watching it dissipate? What are we doing? How are we dealing with the situation? And that's where you get to become creative. And once you're watching those annoyances burning alive in front of you, that's it's nice. It's nice to get rid of those things. But my outlet that I have is the Bela song. It's flipping these things. I wish it was more socially acceptable, because I need to be doing this. What up? What up, dude? I haven't talked to you in forever. But anyway, I need to be able to just fucking pull this out and flip whenever the fuck I want to. All these fucking liberal people, like these young kids, They exist because their parents are paying for them to exist. They don't have a job and they have all the free time in the world to go out and protest about shit that they know nothing about. If they're getting everything that they want, why can't I get what I want? You know what I mean? Like why? You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I wish more people would protest about this shit and fucking, you know, tell everybody to fuck off. I'm just on here bitching, James. Dude, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but the fucking mailman is giving me problems right now. And unfortunately, if there's not consequences, nobody's gonna learn anything. This is like the 13th time. Every time USPS gets their hands on anything, they find a way to fuck it up. It's appalling to me how they find a way to fuck it up, but they do. And I can't think of anything else other than picking a fight with the mailman. Like I have to meet this guy. I have to call off of work and go stand by my mailbox and smoke cigarettes until this guy shows up, and then have a conversation with him. You know, because nobody's going to learn anything unless I do something about it. That's the problem. There's no such thing as karma. Karma does not exist. It never has. That's a lie that people tell themselves all the time. They're like, oh yeah, karma will get him. Yeah, sure, in 35 fucking years when I don't even know that guy's name. That's not soon enough. That needs to happen. You know, that's not good enough for me. Oh, well, you know, what is it? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Let vengeance be mine. Just one time. Just one time. Just one fucking time. You know what I mean? Just let me fucking make an example. You know what I mean? But I don't know. You know, I flipping kind of opens up my mind a little bit, and it's like, you know, I don't know why the fuck I'm so hell-bent on this. It's just such a tiny, minute little thing, but it's a cockroach. And if I don't do something about the cockroach is going to multiply, just like the fucking homeless people. You know, it all started with one homeless guy. He's like, well, this place is great. Everybody's got money, and I make $10 million a year and don't have to pay taxes because people just give it to me for free. Next thing you know, 380 million homeless people from California migrate down here. And now, you know, you can't walk outside without seeing somebody taking a shit by the dumpsters. Or fucking prostitutes walking. It's just garbage. It's all trash. People pay a lot of money to live here. This is like the 6th largest city in the United States. And they're surrounded by garbage. Everywhere you go. Garbage. Absolute trash. And nobody's doing anything about it. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I got some pretty strong opinions on that, but again, nobody's going to learn anything unless somebody does something about that. And, you know, I know that we were thinking, and this will never happen, so don't even worry about this, but what needs to happen is they need to drive around and collect all these homeless people, right? Like they need like a force, like ICE or something. Right, that will go around to these gas stations, gather up all these homeless people, and put them in a facility, like a prison, and tell them, hey, look, we're gonna feed you, we're gonna clothe you, we're gonna let you take showers, we're gonna let you, you know, we're gonna give you stuff to do so that you can earn money and you can buy things for yourself, but you're gonna get clean, no more drugs, no more. And if they refuse, that's fine. They become a ward of the state at that point. So what that means is they have no control over any decision in their life, right? Because they're gonna pick drugs over picking to fix their bullshit, right? And stop becoming a problem for the taxpayers. So they become a ward of the state. Or they can get a job while they're in this facility. After they've sobered up, they can get a job. They can get back on their feet. They have a free place to stay for a couple of months at this facility, so that they can save up enough money to get back on their feet. And if they fuck up and they get high again, word of the state, sorry, you are no longer allowed to make decisions at all. The government will make them for you. So that's the only way that I know how to deal with an infestation like this. It's going to take, unfortunately, taxpayers' money. You know, there's no way around it, dude. It's just, it's so apocalyptically out of control that, you know, it just sucks, man. It fucking sucks. Like, Florida was one of the worst states I ever lived in. I talk about Phoenix like it's awful. It is, but it's not as bad as Florida. Florida fucking sucked. Everything about it sucked. People are like, oh, well, there's the beach. Whoop-de-fucking-do, what the hell do I care? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck? Most of the water down there is infested with alligators. You can't even go swimming in the motherfucker. So you just walk around all day, frying your ass off in 110 degree fucking sun with 180 fucking % humidity. I mean, it sucks. And it's like that all the time. It never goes away. Like, you get like 7 days out of the year where it's actually cold outside, and then BAM! 110 degrees, and it stays that way for fucking 11 and a half months, and it just never goes away. People are like, oh, I disagree with you on that. Well, you're fucking wrong. You're wrong. But yeah, you know, the mailman. I don't know. I hope my message is enough to that guy to let him know that, hey, somebody's living at this address. And no, you don't need to know what my fucking name is. You can go fuck yourself. Just give me my fucking package and do your goddamn job. You know, I don't understand why it has to be so complicated. You know, I have things that are precious to me. And it bothers me that of all of the distribution centers that offer shipping, why is it that USPS is a constant problem? You know, unfortunately, I did receive it, but this was put in the hands of USPS, right? This is the knife that I learned how to scissor on. And for those of you who are lesbos and you think one way or another, that's not what I'm talking about. Scissoring is, and this is a very, very heavy knife to be doing this on, but the one thing about the BRS Bare Bones is the momentum, the balance of the knife is so well. It is heavy, but the balance is so nice that you can learn things like scissoring on it. And it's very slow and methodical when you first start out. So we'll do like a chaplain, right? And then we'll do a twirl. And now when we throw an aerial, look how nice and slow that was. And that's how I learned scissoring on this knife. So this is a very, very special knife to me because that is an extremely difficult maneuver. There's people who have been flipping for years and still don't know how to do that. And this gave me the opportunity. It was like, hey, slow down, pay attention to what you're doing. You don't have to move so fast. Just focus. And you know, these are the lessons that I get from Bela songs that I never talk about, and I should, because there's a lot of people that flip these that have learned a lot. I mean, yeah, sure, you get stabbed. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? That shit happens all the time. But you know, there's a lot to be learned with these. There's a lot. And they calm me down. And it's just not socially acceptable for me to do this in public. It's just not. And it never will be because it's a knife and people are afraid. just how it is, you know. But it's like, well, shit, you know, if you're, I don't know. I think that's a war that'll never happen. There's not enough of us. There's not enough people that flip these things that we can stand up and do anything about anything, really. I mean, you know, there's groups of us, but we're all in the group, you know what I mean? It's not like we're next door neighbors, you know? But, anyway. So, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here. I'm gonna take my meds and get some sleep. Fucking cook some damn food or something. And, I'll probably put this up on my YouTube because I haven't put a video up in a while. I still haven't made that boot night video. I've been busy as shit, like busy as fuck. But there's a lot of things that you have to set up when you make YouTube videos, that, like lighting and stuff like that, that sets you apart from other channels. So I haven't had the time. But anyway, all right, guys, we'll catch you later. Peace.